Okay, for quadratic equations, there are several ways to solve for the zeros, to solve for the solutions of x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. Now, but for today, we're gonna use, we're going to use the x and t method that we learned last week, where, here we go, where we use the middle term, the numerical coefficient of the middle term 5 on the top, while the last term, which is the constant 6, is going to go to going to be in the bottom. And now, before we solve this, we need to use that bottom number 6 to list all the factors of 6. Now, the factors of 6 are 1 and 6. Obviously, 1 times 6 equals 6. But you have to remember, negative times negative will give you a positive 6 also. Negative 1 times negative 6 will give you positive 6. And now, of course, we have 3 and 2. 2 times 3 is going to give you 6. And again, negative times negative is positive, so negative 2 and negative 6, negative 2 and negative 3 are also the factors of positive 6. Now, the question is, which pair here will give you a sum of 6? A sum of 5. Okay, let's see. 1 plus 6 gives you 7, so definitely not. Negative 1 plus negative 6 will give you negative 7. Nope. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Again, 2 plus 3 will give you 5, and that is what we're looking for. We're looking for two factors of 6, where if you multiply them together, will be equal to 6. If you add them, will be equal to the number on top of x. And those are 2 and 3. Now, if you remember from last time that if you have a trinomial without the equal sign, then your final answer would be x plus 2 parentheses and x plus 3. But because we're dealing with quadratic equations with the equal sign, we can go ahead and equate both x plus 2 to 0 and x plus 3 to 0. So we can move plus 2 over, because we're solving for the values of x, becomes negative 2. Okay, and the other value of x is move the 3 over, becomes negative 3. Here we go. And the final answer would be negative 3 and negative 2. Okay? So negative 3, negative 2. This is going to be the solution of this equation, quadratic equation. Okay? Now, how about if we have, let's say we have number 2, x squared minus 4x equals 12. Equals 12. Now, to solve this equation, we have to make sure that our equation is in standard form. Okay, it should be in standard form, which means we need the leading term to have the highest exponent, which is going to be the 2, and then the second term is going to be the term with the x, and then the 12, we have to make sure it's on the left side of the equal sign, and that's going to give us negative 12, equal to, basically in standard form, we have to make sure that all of the terms are on left side, equal to 0. So, after doing that, we can go ahead and apply the x and t again. Okay, now again, the number on top should be -4, and then the number on the bottom of x should be -12. And we can go ahead and find the factors of 12, -12. So here we got -1 and 12. Or we can say we have +1 and the 12 is negative. How about -2 and 6? Or 2, -6? -3 and 4 and 3, -4. There you go. Now let's go ahead and identify the two pairs, one pair or two factors that's going to give us -4 when we add them. -1 plus 12 is 11. Nope. So not this. 1 minus 12 is -11. -11, nope. Again, we need to get -4. -2 plus 6 is 4. Nope. And 2 minus 6, or 2 plus -6, is equal to -4. Okay, so here we got 2 and -6. Again, our objective was to find the factors of -12 so that when we add them, we can get -4. So let's try. 2 plus -6 is -4. 2 times -6 is -12. Here we go. Now, since we are solving a quadratic equation, that means x plus 2 should be equal to 0, and then x minus 6 will be equal to 0 as well. And then after that, we can go ahead and move the 2 over. We can solve for x. X is equal to -2, and the second answer is +6. Therefore, to write your final answer in solution set, it'll be -2, 6. This is your solution set. That's your final answer for number 2. Okay, now how about if we have number 3? Now try this on your own. How about if you have x squared minus 25 equals 0? We have x and t. Try that. Let me give you 1 minute for that. Hi guys, let me help you out. Here we go. Again, we wanted this equation to be in standard form, but the problem is it looks like it doesn't have the middle term where the x is. So I'll go ahead and put 0 here. Oops, I'll put 0 on top of the x. And then on the bottom is -25, so that means I need to list all the factors of -25. So it could be 1 and -25, -1 and 25. Oh, how about -5 and 5? Now, which pair here will give us 0 if we add them? 1 plus -25 is -24. -1 plus 25 is +24. How about -5 plus 5 equals, there we go. So that means we are looking for negative 5 and 5. So to write the equations, we have x minus 5 equals 0. Again, we have to equate it to 0. And then x plus 5 equals 0. Then we can go ahead and solve for x by moving the negative 5 over. Becomes x equals negative 5 becomes positive 0. And then see that positive 5? If you move it over, becomes x becomes negative 5. Here we go. Now again, to write the solution set, it's going to be negative 5 and 5. I think it will be better if you write it from the smaller number to the bigger number. So this is going to be your solution for that x squared minus 25 equals 0. Now, how about if you have number 4? Number 4. How about if you have 3x squared equals 5x plus 2. 3x squared equals 5x plus 2. So again, we need to arrange this equation to standard form, which is 3x squared minus 5x minus 2 equals 0. That means we can again use the x and t and write negative 5 on top of x and negative, here we go. This time we have the leading term has a numerical coefficient 3. So that means we need to take care of this and that. Before, when we were just having this, we can automatically write negative 2 on the bottom. But now that we have a 3, that means we have to multiply 3 and negative 2. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Okay? That's only telling us that we have to find the factors of negative 6. And the factors are negative 1 and 6. 1 and negative 6. Negative 2 and 3. And 2, negative 3. Yeah, that's about it. Now, let's go ahead and find the pair that's going to give us positive, negative 5 if we add them. So negative 1 plus 6 is positive 5. Oops, again, we're looking for negative 5. 1 plus negative 6 is, here we go, negative 5. That means we are going to be using 1 and negative 6. But because we multiplied the negative 2 by 3, we have to divide both answers by 3 as well. Okay? So that means to write your equations, you're going to have x plus 1/3 equals 0. And then x negative 6 over 3 is negative 2 equals 0. So to solve for x, move this over, becomes x equals negative 1 over 3. And then move the negative 2 over, becomes x equals positive 2. Now, again, let's master again on how to write your solution set. Now, for the solution set, it's going to be negative 1 over 3, parentheses, and then the second one is 2. This is your solution set for number 4, 3x squared equals 5x plus 2. That's about it. So in our next video, we're going to talk about solving quadratic equations that cannot be solved using our x and t method. Ciao.